Hey, my name's James Nicholson and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about rent arrears. They've surged massively in the last few months, and I think we need to have a look at just how bad it's going to get, because this is something that massively impacts those tenants, of course, but it also impacts landlords as well, and that could mean that more landlords quit the market, making less supply, making it even harder for people to get property. Now, this is something that we do need to sort out, and we're going to give you a deep dive on what exactly is happening at the moment. Now, if you're new around here and you haven't done it already, do make sure you subscribe to the channel over there and hit that bell notification. We're on the way to 38,000 subscribers now, so thank you to everybody that subscribes to the channel. And let's get some views on this video. How do we do that, you ask? Simple. Smash like, tickle like, do something to the like button, and press that share button and WhatsApp it, Facebook, or email it to someone as well. So, what's going on? Well, there's a company called Reposit, and they are a company that looks after deposits. It's something you can't do anymore. I haven't been able to do for a while as a landlord. You can't legally look after the tenant's deposit. It either has to go to an agent who register it with a third party, or you can use a third party as well. And they track arrears and they track what's going on, and they get to understand that because they get really an understanding on who doesn't get their deposits back if they're in rental arrears and stuff like that. So how much is the average amount owed in arrears at the moment? Is £2,597. That's not an insignificant number. And if you have that up north, that's nearly 6 months rent. If you have it down south, it might be just over 2 months rent, or around there or thereabouts. And that is a big concern for a lot of people, that arrears are going up. Now, obviously, they're going up due to the cost of living crisis. And in my opinion, the government aren't really doing much to help us. We've got inflation that's rising again. We've got energy costs that are going up in April. You've got your council tax going up in April as well. You've got your water rates going up in April as well. On top of that, unemployment is rising and we're on the verge of a recession. And so it feels like we're being steered on a ship by not really anyone that knows how to drive a boat. And that's not good. And we need really to have someone in power that is forcing through policies that are improving the economics of this country. And I don't feel that's really there at the moment. So rental arrears are going up at an alarming rate. In fact, they have gone up in a year 44%. 44% in a year increase. And that's a huge increase. It means a lot of people are now suffering. It means those tenants potentially have got stress of legal threats from landlords. It means there's a potential of huge numbers of people being evicted. Then they're going to have to be looked after by the councils that can't afford to look after them. So that's not great either. And it also means that some landlords just won't be able to pay their mortgages. Potentially, if they have one property or two properties and they were an accidental landlord, maybe they've got mortgage arrears and stuff like that, that could mean that ultimately that property gets taken off the market in a repossession. So this isn't a great figure, and it shows the underlying economy isn't great. We know that. We know things are going to get more expensive, but we also can see that this is likely to increase. So the average deposit, because look, this rental arrears can get taken from the deposit at the end of a tenancy. The average deposit at the moment is $1,228, and that gives the landlords a shortfall of £1,369. So there's a big shortfall there, even if the landlord does evict. Now, also, if there is an eviction, there's costs on solicitors, there's costs at courts, there's costs at bailiffs, and no one really wants to go through that process either. And so this is something that needs to get addressed. We need to improve the economy, and we need to improve people's well-being and bring that inflation down, and make it affordable for people to pay their rent. Now, with higher interest rates has led to rents going up, and that means affordability has been more difficult. You've also got the EPC stuff on landlords where you're saying they've got to spend 15 grand. Now, if all of this stuff happens, if you tax the landlord, if the interest rate goes up, if they're forced to spend 15 grand on doing up the property, rents are going to get more expensive. In fact, we've talked about this a lot. More landlords are going to quit. The rental market is going to shrink, and all of this is going to push rents up significantly. And I think that these arrears, if we look at them in a quarter or 6 months from now, or at the end of the year, I think they're going to be even higher. I can't see this at any point at the moment moving down. Now, one thing that could help quickly is if interest rates dropped and landlords could get onto a lower mortgage. That could potentially stop some of them putting up rents. You could put rent caps in. They did that in Scotland. If you put rent caps in, what normally happens is rents surge ahead of that. And if you look at what happened in Scotland, I've done some content on that. Rents went up 20% in 2 years because of rental caps. So they backfired and didn't work. So what else is going on at the moment? Well, let's look at buy-to-let mortgages. How many of those are in arrears at the moment? So buy-to-let mortgages, there are 12,610 where the arrears are over 2.5%. That's really the number that they start to worry, start to send you letters, and start to get a bit threatening. 12,610 of them are at that level. Now that number, surprisingly, is down on the last quarter. And so that is 3% down in a quarter. Now that's happened for a few reasons. One, because rents have gone up. That has helped some landlords that were struggling a little bit there. And you have had some mortgage rate drops as well. So maybe they've refinanced off a big rate like 6% down to a 4 or a 3.5%. We were able to get, I got a 3.99 at some point last summer. And so that has taken some pressure off. But in a nutshell, this isn't a great environment for anyone at the moment. You've got record immigration, you've got people living longer. The population in this country is growing significantly. You're pushing out people out of the rental market, and the rental market is shrinking when more people require that property. I can't see this being something that ends up with a great solution at all. And I think this is going to get worse and worse and worse. I think the burden on social housing is going to go up exponentially. I did a video on that the other day. There are some areas in London, if you're going to get a 4-bedroom house, the waiting times are 67 years. 67 years. The average waiting time in one of the boroughs in London was 26 years. Insane. This is a real problem. I'd like to know what your thoughts, questions or observations are below. Do comment below on all the videos. Do smash like and check out all the other content as well on the channel, including this video right here.